Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Grant Info session. We will be covering some of the upcoming events, grant events. Okay. Yes, so before starting, let's go over some Zoom etiquettes. Change your name, raise your hand, turn on your camera so we can virtually meet. It's not different from meeting face to face. We want to see you all. Be respectful, show respect to everyone in the room, be kind of your words and actions. Use the chat box. Do not hesitate to ask questions if you have any questions. There is no such a bad or good question. Everyone is like allowed to have a question. Yes. You can mute the mic if you have something, then you can raise your hand. So Empower would like to acknowledge the lens we are working on. So we would like to take a minute to read the slide. A little bit about Empower Forex. It's a business consulting firm. We support all entrepreneurs by providing co-working and business services, membership, as well as training and consulting. We can help you with the business services, membership, planning, operations, financial projections, bookkeeping, grant writing, and marketing strategies. We have various offerings depend on where you are in your journey, from ideation to scale up. We offer many training programs that can help level up your business: social enterprise certification programs, mental health standard certifications, mental health supporting youth certification, and Grant Hunter University. We offer many different services for the startups to establish their business: virtual offices with 3 locations, consulting services, marketing, grant writing, technology, management, business planning, and we do business grant promote live shows. We have an upcoming events like grant working groups and free financial literacy sessions. You can scan the barcode and you can register with us for the all events. So about Empower Forex grant writing service, we do DIY free sessions, Grant Hunter U, funding summaries, blueprints, reviews, paid sessions, and group writing groups, and modify grant writer, we do it for you. Here are some valued partners: Ultra Savings, Sheldon, and here you can see on the screen. Today's agenda: meet the facilitator, overview of grants, how we can help you, and I would like Ryan to come up and share his screen and introduce himself.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Shruti. Pleasure to meet everyone and see everyone. As we know, we take this time at least once a month to just go through our approach to going after grants, and also like looking at what grants are currently available. So as I'm going through, if you do have questions, feel free to put them into the chat. Otherwise, we do leave time at the end for questions as well, but don't feel like you're interrupting if you want to put it into the chat. And if it's something specific to what I'm talking about, then feel free to unmute and let me know because I might miss it in the chat. Let me see, this presenter thing will work. All right. Oh, that's it. All right. So a bit about myself. I do consider myself a serial social entrepreneur. So I do run a few social enterprises, namely Detailing Nights, which is a mobile, oh my gosh, a mobile waterless car cleaning company. So we go to people's houses or their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And what I'm most proud of with Detailing Nights is our youth entrepreneurship program, where we work with high school and college students, even those out of school, to teach them that they can start their own business. And also Service Kingdom is my social enterprise consultancy firm. So those either nonprofits that are looking to start social enterprises or for-profit businesses that are looking to shift to being a social enterprise, I work with them more closely. Executives Power Up is for those companies that are ready to scale their businesses. So being able to place a team at that C-level suite. So you're probably the CEO. So typically you would need a CTO, so a chief technical officer, or a CFO, chief financial officer, and all those other C-level positions. We're able to help place that team with your company to help you become more investable as you're looking to scale up. And Black Panther's Cage, I would say, is our project in the background. Think of Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, but with Black founders and Black investors. So Black founders pitching to Black investors. So stay tuned for that coming up. But as one of my most proud things that we've been able to develop is the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So I was one of the co-founders there, and also being part of the Empowered Forex business crew. So really helping businesses and nonprofits with their operations and also with getting access to funding. So a little bit about ACBN. We did start just over 5 years ago, and really I was seeing a gap as I was running Detailing Nights, and we were looking to expand and franchise across Canada and into the US. And there weren't a lot of Black focused business organizations that I could go to that had the mandate to scale up companies. So we brought 6 other entrepreneurs together, said, could we create this entity that would sit down with an entrepreneur, figure out what stage their business is in, and then help them to grow their companies. And thus ACBN was born. And over those past 5 years, we've been able to engage with over 5,000 Black entrepreneurs. We are seeing that about 71% of them are female entrepreneurs. And the ones that we're working with, about 91% are either the business founder or the CEO. But what I'm most proud of with the work that we've done with ACBN is being able to partner with over 40 other Black focused business organizations. And now our reach is extended across Canada, into the US, and even overseas, well, and into the Caribbean and into Africa as well. But expanding our reach to entrepreneurs and knowing that any entrepreneur that we engage with, we're able to point them in the right direction so that they can get the support that they need. And a bit about the principles that ACBN does stand on. Of course, entrepreneurship is, I would say, the guiding star, the North Star, but entrepreneurship is one of the best tools that we've seen to be able to create economic empowerment. And doing convening like this, or when we do our info sessions and networking events, so that we can share notes. And that's a big part of why we do these info sessions, is because we've been able to experience and have success in certain areas, especially with getting grants, and now being able to share that experience with you so that you can use it on your journey as well. And of course, that access to funding is a big piece of what we do. We've been able to start our own microloan fund in partnership with Alterna Savings, and also be able to create this partnership with Empowered Forex so that we can help you get access to more grants that are out there. I do like to put up this slide just to give you an idea of the breadth of different funding that's out there. And you'll see it can be as small as $500 all the way up to over $1 million in different types of funding that we've been able to get in the past. And it ranges from pitch competitions to grants from the city, grants from the provincial government, and even grants from the federal government, and also sponsorship and funding from different corporations as well. So one thing that you'll learn about me is I don't consider myself an academic grant writer. I more consider myself a grant hunter. So always on the lookout for what grants are out there. How can we apply? Do we qualify? And if we do qualify, making sure that we get that application in. So a lot of times just getting it in is the big win, and then you can learn from it. So even if you don't get it, you can still learn and improve the application. And hey, sometimes you get it. And one thing that we love to see is us being able to help other organizations also get funding. So similar with Rescue Youth International, doing great work with youth in the community in Peel region, so Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon, that are going through the education or the justice system. And they weren't getting all the grants that I would say that they qualify for, they deserve, because the bandwidth is low, being able to research and write the grants and follow up. So we were able to work with them, being able to identify the investment readiness program, help them create a structure for a social enterprise, and then help them to be successful getting this grant. And same thing with Custodia, who I would say is on the opposite side of the spectrum, where they're a pure for-profit company, but didn't realize that they're operating as a social enterprise, being able to support seniors and doing landscaping so that they can live longer in their homes. They were able to identify that they qualified for the investment readiness program, and again, was successful in getting the grant. And also New Life Project, shout out to Brenda out in Ottawa. Again, the bandwidth is low because we're so busy, typically as executive directors doing the work of running the organization. We were able to work alongside her, help her get access to the Supporting Black Communities Initiative. And that was one of the first grants that they'd been able to get for their organization. And now they've been able to get additional grants after getting that first one. And that's one thing that you'll notice is I talk a lot about grant blueprint. So using the grants that you've written before, and especially ones that are successful, to become that blueprint for what you're going to be using to write grants in the future, because it makes it a lot easier. So the grant writing blueprint, that's something that we take people through when we do our Grant Hunter University. So that's our online course that helps a person complete their grant blueprint, which I'll say the quick Coles notes of it. I remember when I was writing grants for Detail Ignites, and this was back in like 2015, or actually 2014, when I first started trying to get grants and realizing that I wasn't being successful. And, you know, being a for-profit, there weren't a lot of grants out there for for-profit businesses. So we were trying to get grants that are more catered to nonprofits because those are the only ones that existed. And it wasn't until I was able to bring on a grant writer to, you know, like really fix the language and make sure I added research to what I was talking about, because we were doing the youth entrepreneurship program. So I thought, since I'm already doing it, we should be a shoe-in to get a grant. But the grant world has its own language and its own process. So being a for-profit company, we didn't qualify and we weren't writing properly, but being able to now take out the community portion of what we're doing with the business, create a grassroots organization that specifically targeted like the youth entrepreneurship program, and also getting the help with the writing, and also partnering with another nonprofit. That's something, keep that in the back of your mind, because I talk a lot about partnerships. So that process then became a successful grant that we got with the Youth Opportunities Fund. And that grant now became the template that I would use for the other grants that I would go after. So it became that first blueprint that I would use. And that's what we teach you to do, is to look at answering as many of the questions that you know are going to come up with any of these grants that you go for. You answer them ahead of time. And then once you have those answers, when you're going and you find a grant that you qualify for, you're going to be able to be further ahead. And a lot of times we get stuck because we're always starting from scratch. So once you have that blueprint done, 80% of the work is really already completed. Now you can just customize it to what the funder is looking for. And it's a lot easier to apply for grants. So you're able to apply for a lot more. The business plan blueprint, that's for another session. We also help businesses with completing their business plans. So if that is of interest, definitely send a note to the Empowered4X team. But one tool that I did want to show you, let me see if this opens up smoothly, is the Business Benefits Finder from the federal government. Let me see. Right, so remember Business Benefits Finder. Right. So this link takes you to, and actually I'll put this into the chat. So if you wanted to follow along, feel free. And really what it does is it allows you to fill in the blanks, and then you can identify what grants or services you qualify for that the government will assist you with. So for example, if you're looking for funding, let's say look for wage subsidies, you can go through this quickly. All amounts, let's just see what's out there. So we're gonna start by a business, wanna grow, wanna hire people, continue. And you can see here, you can also just select all goals if you just wanna see everything. But for here, let's see, we're in Ontario, oh, not Northern, Southern. Right, and we are in education, education. So you want to put how much employees, what your income range is, if you're incorporated or not incorporated. We always suggest you go incorporated. And any specific identifiers. And typically you want to see all the programs, even if they're not accepting, just so you're aware of it. And what it does is creates not a printout, but you can print it, but it shows you all the different types of funding that you do qualify for. Now, it can be overwhelming because there's a lot of different things. So this is where it helps to have somebody to kind of guide you along so that you don't waste your time on things that you don't qualify for, because it might take time to read through each one. Like for innovation and social projects, that might be a good one to go for, but it is specific to Indigenous. So you might see the title, go into it, start reading through, and then you realize that you don't qualify. Or MyTax, where you get research talent, but you do have to have funds up front to pay for it and you get reimbursed. So understanding how each of them flows, you do want to read through the criteria for each. And again, anything that you qualify for, I would definitely take the time to apply. And also, if you still want to ask questions, each link will take you to the website that talks about it. So you want to contact somebody there to ask questions. That allows you to get clarity on what's available. Trying to look through to see which ones we've gotten before. Yeah, so the FedDev one we've gotten before. The research one, oh, 2 billion trees. I wonder what that's about. All right, and there's also wage subsidies. So you're seeing it has 19 results. So we've gotten, let's see if it's here, Ripen. So Ripen is a good one where you're able to get students to work on projects in your business or your nonprofit. So we've been able to get students through this one, and the Ripen program pays the students for their internship or them working on your project. So that's been a good one. I'm trying to think what other ones we've done. And the Canada Summer Jobs. So for nonprofits, you get 100% reimbursement for youth that you hire through the Canada Summer Jobs. I believe it's 75% for for-profit companies. So a lot of times when we want to optimize our operations, or if we want to start to grow and hire, you want to use wage subsidy programs because it allows you to hire somebody, train them and see if they're a fit without having to pay 100% of the cost, so that if they're a fit, then they can continue and grow with your company. If they're not a fit, at least you're not out of pocket for the 100% of the cost of a new hire. But you do see they have loan programs, tax credit programs, advice and expertise. I know BDC is good with that. But this website, and I did put it into the chat, something to take time, fill in the blanks, and see what comes out. If it comes out and you're still not able to navigate it, please let our team know and we'll be able to work with you. But this is a great tool for you. Okay, let me see. How do I head back? Presentation. All right, so I do want to jump into the next one. So this funding program through the Black Opportunity Fund, it was in partnership with the CIBC. So CIBC created a loan program where you could get up to $250,000 as a loan. So let me just show you this one real quick. And you'll see the $250,000. But if you needed support with finishing your business plan or your cash flow projections, they created a grant program through the Black Opportunities Fund. And the Black Opportunity Fund partnered with the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce. So being able to go through their training, get those elements done, and then you can go back and apply for the loan. And you'll notice that this loan is up to $250,000 for equipment or up to $100,000 for working capital. For equipment, you can pay it off over 10 years, or for working capital over 60 months. But when you start the loan process, you'll see here where it asks you like contact details, but they want to know if you have your financial statements ready and if you have your business plan and cash flow projections ready. So if you don't, that's where going through the grant program is great. And you're able to then get support with increasing your financial literacy. You can get help with finishing your business plan or cash flow projections, and also help with improving your credit score. And as you complete certain milestones, you get up to $2,000, so that all those things, when they're done, then you can go back and apply for the loan. And here's just a breakdown of the different programs that they have. But also, if you're not interested in the loan, you can just go directly through the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce so that you can apply and go through their programming and get these things done, but you're not obligated to go and get the loan. So I'll put this link into the chat as well as I pull it up. Oh, actually, grab this so that it's hyperlinked. All right. So yes, through the elevateblackbusiness.ca, you can just go to enroll now. So you can just go directly through the support side of it if you're not interested in the CIBC loan. All right. So the next one that we did want to touch on is the BAIDS one, actually. And then go to BAIDS. It is not showing my BAIDS. So BAIDS stands for the Business Advisory Implementation Development Services. And this program is one of the ones that I like a lot because it allows you to get services done for your business without having to come out of pocket. So if you needed help with your business plan, your bookkeeping and accounting, or also legal support, you're able to go through the BAIDS program. What they do is they partner or they connect you with a service provider. So let's say you need your business plan done, they will connect you with somebody that can help you complete your business plan. And so once they get it done, they invoice the BBPA to get it paid. So the entrepreneur doesn't have to come out of pocket to get the service done. And so, for example, if you're going to get a loan and you needed your business plan done, you can go through the BAIDS program, use their grant program to now get your business plan done by an expert service provider. And then you can use that business plan to go get the loan that you needed for your business. without having to come out of pocket to pay somebody to write your business plan. So this one is pretty straightforward with their application. Let me go into it so you can see. And in the form, it does have an area where it shows what you're able to apply for. Let's see if I can show that to you. So you'll see a standard contact information, information about your business. They do want to hear the story of your business. And this is another thing. So as you're doing these applications and you're writing out that story of your business, make sure to save that somewhere. And that's where we talk about the blueprint, or even if you use like Evernote or Google Keep, to take these answers and put them somewhere that you can reference quickly. Because sometimes you have to keep writing this, so like every grant is going to ask you this question. So you want to have that answered and ready to go. And then you can add to it, or if it doesn't give you as many, the word count is lower, you can edit it, but you should have it already done in somewhere so you're not starting from scratch. And you'll see here the services. So yeah, so you can get accounting and bookkeeping help, you can get support with business planning and budgeting, or you can get help with legal services. One thing that I did want to touch on with Summer Company is this is a grant that I find we miss a lot of times in our community. And a lot of the youth that might be able to, or have ideas for a business, don't realize that they could qualify for the Summer Company program. And I'll give you another example. I'm in the Durham region, and they were emailing us asking if we knew any Black youth that wanted to start a business because they were undersubscribed for the grant. So money was not used because they didn't have enough people to sign up. This is where we have to make sure that people in our community know about what grants are out there so that they can apply, because sometimes not enough of people apply, so your chances of getting the grant is really high, and we miss it just because we didn't tell our son or daughter that it exists, where now they could have used this money to test out if entrepreneurship is for them. So please keep in mind Summer Company as it rolls around again next year, and each city has their own entrepreneurship center, and you would apply through the entrepreneurship center. So something to keep in mind if you know anybody that is 29 or younger and on a break from school. So it could be their summer break and they're going back, or they want to start a business and then they're going to go back to school for additional learning. So Digital Main Streets is the next grant that we shall dig into. And they have a few options. So I'll go through all three just so you get an idea of the types of grants that they have. And then we're going to touch on which ones are currently active. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Oh, the BAIDS one, yes. Let me put this one in right now. So that's for the application portal. And then that's for more information just on the program as a whole. Let's see what's happening with Digital Main Streets taking its time. All right. Yeah, sorry that it's taking a while. As this is loading up, so Digital Main Street does have 3 grant programs. The first one that a lot of people I think are missing, but it's a really great program that they have. It's called Shop Here. So Shop Here allows you to get connected with somebody from the Digital Main Street team that will help you build your e-commerce store. So if you already have a website and you want to add the ability to sell products on your website, they'll help you connect it and build it out. Or if you're thinking of starting a business from scratch and looking to build out your website or use a Shopify store, you can actually get Digital Main Street to build it for you for free, and then they'll teach you how to maintain it and operate it going forward. Let's see. Maybe something wrong with my saved search. That's probably why, because Yahoo has become my search. I have to fix that. All right, so let me see if this works better or if Digital Main Street is just going slow for some reason. So the other grant that they also operate is called the Canada Digital Adoption Program. So the Canada Digital Adoption Program allows you to get up to $2,400 to support you with your digital marketing. So what they do is you have to actually pay for services, and then you submit the things that you got to either improve your online marketing. So it could be ads like Facebook ads, Google ads. You could have hired a digital marketing professional to help you with your program or help you with your online marketing. Or you can be getting like a POS system, and you can use getting like Square, or I think Moneris has one, or Clover. So if you want to include a POS system into what you're doing to help you with online sales, that would qualify as well. And so these are the things that you can submit. So you do have to pay for it up front, and then you get reimbursed for the $2,400. I don't know why this is taking so long. I'm trying to think if this website is down, because usually this website does not take so long. So the third grant that Digital Main Street works on, and I think I have it here. So they have the Canada Digital Adoption Program, the Shop Here program, and the third one is called RAISE. So RAISE stands for the Racialized and Indigenous Support for Entrepreneurs, and you're able to get up to $10,000 for this grant. And again, to help you with the operations of your business, more so the digital marketing side. But again, you get 10,000 instead of just 2,400. But it is in partnership with the Parkdale Innovation Center. So I know it was open and they went through a cohort in 2022. It was supposed to open back in 2023. I'm still trying to hear back from them when it is going to open. So stay tuned. We'll send out an email to everybody, because the last time that I checked, it wasn't open. And actually, we can check right now to see if this thing is back and ongoing. So we can sign in. What is this? Learn more about these grants. That pop-up is new. So we'll log in just to see if the RAISE grants, because it's supposed to have a apply now button, but you do have to be logged in. So if you're not, you don't have a Digital Main Street account, I will take time to sign up. And they always do have good programs happening. So I think it'd be good to get an account. But let's see. So you'll see the different ones that I talked about. So Shop Here, the Canada Digital Adoption Program. And right now we're checking to see if RAISE has been reactivated, because it was one of the better grants that I had seen, but it seemed like they only did one cohort of it. Yeah, the site is going slow. All right, so I will continue to check if it's live, but I did put the link into the chat, and I'll put the link to RAISE as well, just so you have it. And if you create an account and then check to see if the button to register for raise is there. If it's not, we're going to follow up with them. And for those that may have applied before and hadn't heard back, you should have gotten an email from either Parkdale Innovation Center or from Digital Main Street itself. Definitely follow up with them to see if it's a program that has been relaunched, because you already should be in the queue, and then you'd be able to apply again or get into the next cohort. So you do see it's a non-repayable grant up to $10,000. It is for racialized small business owners, and you do go through a structured coaching program, which is delivered through the Parkdale Innovation Center. So this has been one of the good grants I've seen entrepreneurs get and be able to support their business. And you can use it for these different eligible costs. So fees for professional service. So it can't be used for staff though. So that's where you'll see the owner or staff wages and salaries. It's not for that. It's actually for hiring a professional service provider. But you can use it for marketing, digital transformation, their website, or getting software, and also POS system, as I was talking about. So this is where, when you're logged in, this switches to apply now. So maybe we'll see if that works. This focus on cybersecurity. Okay. I didn't see the cybersecurity one, so I'll check that another time. So the raise one, when you do scroll down, let me see if they reopened it. Okay, so yeah, there's supposed to be an apply now button here. So still haven't heard back from them. We'll check to see when that is going to go live, but definitely in the meantime, create an account, check to see if one of the other programs that they have are a fit. So if you do need help with building out your e-commerce, check out their Shop Here program, or if you need, if you could use $2,400 as a reimbursement for digital marketing things that you want to purchase, I would check out the Canada Digital Adoption Program, and I'll put that link in the chat as well, since it does seem that the connection is much better. Let's the next one. Right, so we did touch on all of those. One thing to keep in mind, we do talk a lot about social enterprise, and there's even a challenge that we're doing next week to help you get prepared for the funding that's coming down the pipeline for social enterprises. And so the Investment Readiness Program and the Toronto Enterprise Fund were two grants that were helping business owners and nonprofits that were starting social enterprises get prepared for the Social Finance Fund. So the Social Finance Fund, it is a federal government initiative. They're putting $755 million into supporting social enterprises, but they are supporting social enterprises as an investment. So because they structured it as an investment, initially they realized that not a lot of social enterprises, or so nonprofits or for-profits, were prepared to take on the investments. And the investments were going to be like hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. So that's why they had created initially this Investment Readiness Program. Now, the Investment Readiness Program, they were grants. So they did 2 cycles, $50 million each, and people could get grants between, I think it was 5,000 up to 100,000, depending on which organization was giving the money. So now those cycles are done. So the Investment Readiness Program has closed, and we're waiting to see if it's going to be reopened in any way. but now the Social Finance Fund is about to launch. And I believe funding is getting ready to roll out by summer or early fall. So being prepared for the Social Finance Fund, especially if you missed the funding that came out with the Investment Readiness Program, that's why we're doing the challenge next week, so that people that are running social enterprises, and a lot of times you might be running a business and don't realize that you're running a social enterprise, because it sits in that sweet spot between a traditional nonprofit and a traditional for-profit, where a nonprofit already has like the positive community impact, but when they create an income generating activity, that becomes their social enterprise business. But for a for-profit company, you're already generating revenue, but now when you fine tune the positive community impact that you have, you're operating your business as a social enterprise. And so this funding that's going to come down is for you. And we want to make sure that you're prepared for it, because it's going to be a lot of money flowing around us. And I always say we need to position ourselves in front of that flow of money. So I'll talk about what we're doing next week to get you prepared shortly. But one thing to touch on with the nonprofit grants is the Ontario Trillium Foundation. They do have their grant portal is open. They have some signature grants that they do each year, sometimes twice a year. So the Youth Opportunities Fund, I had talked about that previous. That was one of the bigger grants that Detail Ignites was able to get early on. And since we've been able to get it again, but keeping an eye on the Resilient Communities Fund, that one comes open a few times, community investment grants, but the Youth Opportunities Fund, they have the test grants and the scale grants within youth innovations, family innovations, and systems innovations. So I'm gonna put this link into the chat just so you can get an idea of the grants that the Ontario Trillium Foundation has, but also the Ontario government has a portal that shows the different grants that they also have as well. And these grants, at any given time, there's like 20 to 30 grants. And a lot of times, I don't think that we engage enough with the province. And it is somewhat tedious to navigate, but we do have to, if there's any grants here that you see that is something that you can execute, it is worth your time to lean into it, get support with going through the process, and at least getting that application in. And then the more grants that you see on this portal, you'd be able to apply. And it'll be a lot easier the second and third time than the first time. Something new that I'm seeing here is this preventing auto thefts grants. So I know car stealing has been quite high. So they created a whole grant for this thing now. I wonder. Interesting. I do see a question. How long does it take for grants to be reviewed? Roughly, I can imagine it varies. So yeah, the time frame for grants, if you're talking about after applying for them to be reviewed, actually, I think the Ontario Trillium Foundation, they show theirs. Let me see if we can use this as an example. Because they have more phases than most. So this one will probably be on the long, like the long far, oh my gosh, the far end of the spectrum in length of time that they take. So you'll see they do their expression of interest and it closes August 23rd. So first they do, and they open the submissions for expression of interest. You have between May and August to submit your expression of interest. So they now, within 6 weeks, say, did you get to the next round? So that's pretty much, they've accepted your expression of interest, and then they invite you to do the full application. So that one is due November 15th, and they would say about 8 weeks after that, after the deadline of November 15th, is when you would be notified that your successful grant, that your grant has been successful. And then so they want projects to start by March of 2024. So you can see from the deadline of it opening, May 31st, to next year, March 1st, is when funds. So funds would probably flow in February. So you want to start your project by March. So that's like 10 months for the whole process from you applying to money being put into your account. I wouldn't say like all grants take this long, but that 3 to 6 months is what I would expect when you're applying for a grant, for when you're gonna hear a response and then actually get the money. But this one's 10 months, so it's a bit longer. All right, my pleasure. Let's see if I can go back into this. What is it? Turns off my presentation. I clicked 2 links. This is learning limitations of this. And one thing that I do like to touch on, I know we're focused on grants for this session, but looking at what loan programs are out there, because grants, as we just talked about, and thank you for the question, where the timeline doesn't work with operations. So grants typically when they come in is more of a bonus, but if you need money to actually execute specific operational things for your organization or for your business, looking at taking on a micro loan or a bigger loan would be more beneficial because the timelines are shorter. So typically a micro loan, you can get approved within 4 to 6 weeks. A traditional loan at the bank, it could be less than 2 weeks, but then you'd be able to use that money to, let's say, get the equipment you need or improve your marketing so that you can increase your sales. And then that increase in sales would be able to service and pay the loan payments. So that's where, if you're approaching and leveraging loans, you want to make sure you have a plan for what you're going to do with the money. And that way it doesn't become a burden, it actually becomes an asset. So some of the different loans that do exist, I know the Black Entrepreneurship Bank loans, there's actually 4 banks that have it now. So RBC, CIBC, Bank of Montreal, Scotiabank, and also TD, I believe, launched theirs as well. So if you bank with any of those 5 providers, I would definitely look at reaching out to them, asking about the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Program that they have. You can go up to $250,000. And that's, I would say, a quicker path to getting capital that you need to execute what you need for your business. But on the microloan side, ACBN, we have our microloan that goes up to $25,000. There's the Access Community Capital Fund, and also Rise Asset Development. The FACE Coalition is another loan program that goes up to $250,000. The FACE Coalition is focused on the Black community, but Access Community Capital and Rise Asset Development isn't. And also Futurepreneur is open, and Alterna, with their partnership with BDC, is open as well. And so as we wrap up, just wanted to let everybody know, we share all this information because we do want to see you win. And I know a lot of times going after grants is difficult. So if it becomes overwhelming, do remember that we do offer this service. So Empowered4X can help you with your grant writing, or even just researching what grants are out there, and also doing reviews of grants that you've written. So it does range between, I would say, the do-it-yourself course that's online called Grant Hunter University, which is $297. If you just want to meet one-on-one for a strategy, or for us to do research on what grants are out there, that's between $297 and $500. Or if you just completely want this off your shoulders, off your plate, us to do the research and write the grants for you, that does range between $500 to $3,000 plus, depending how complex the grant is. So these are options for you if just to see where you fit. If you're wanting to go through the course to get your blueprint done, that exists. Or if you want somebody to take it over and do it all for you, that also exists as well. A couple other events that Empowered4X does do is our financial management for business sessions. So that happens every other Thursday. And we do have sessions on mindfulness and yoga. So definitely touch. Shrishti, if you can put that link into the chat, just so people can see if that's a fit for them and they can register. And also, so if you do want support with researching or grant writing, we do have, let me see if I can grab this link actually. So I'll put it into the chat for you. Yeah, so this is typically where we ask people to start. So by filling out this intake form, you can get an idea of what it is that you're looking for. A representative from Empower4X will reach out to you to have that conversation on how we can help and then figure out the best plan of action. So if you are looking for support in this grant writing journey, whether it's help with research, help with a grant that you're currently writing and you need somebody to review it, or if you just want support with getting it all done, I would take time to fill out this form and then we'll reach out to you to have that conversation. All right. And one thing, as I mentioned, the funding challenge that we do, so it's helping you to build that social enterprise that is ready for investment. One thing that I noticed as we work with social enterprises is that they're either on one end of the spectrum with doing a lot of the community work and aren't making enough money to actually be sustainable, or they're running a business and they're not quite sure how to track and fine tune the community impact that they do. So this is what this challenge is for. It's one, to fully let you know about the opportunities that are coming down the pipeline for social enterprises. A lot of the funding, specifically the Social Finance Fund, but there's other funding as well that is focused specifically on social enterprises. So it's really helping you understand what opportunities there are and also structure you so that you can be successful with going after these opportunities, but more so successful with just running a social enterprise as a business on its own. Because if you're able to generate the money that you need through your social enterprise, it will be sustainable, and the funding that you can get for it is more so a bonus and helps you to amplify it. So I would invite you to attend our challenge. Shristi, if you can put this link into the chat. Actually, let me see if this link will take you there. Because it should take us to, yes, the landing page. So I'll put this in. And for this challenge, there is a cost to it. So if you wanted to join us as a VIP, where before the session starts, we meet for an hour. Okay, go there. We meet for an hour so that you can ask your specific questions about your needs and your business and your social enterprise. I would suggest that because a lot of times when we get into the session, the answers to the questions that we get have to be more general because there's more people on the Zoom call. But an hour before, we're able to answer specific questions to your business or your nonprofit. But if you just want to join us for the Zoom call, you'd be able to only pay $97. So I'm going to move this. $97. You get access to the Facebook group where the live stream will be. And then we'll go through how to structure your social enterprise to get the funding that you need and to also make it sustainable so that the operations generate enough profits that the business will grow and you can do the great community work that you're already doing. All right. So, and I know time ran away from me, but I am committed to stick around. If anybody does have to jump off, I know it's 2 o'clock. Feel free. I thank you for your presence. But if you do have questions, I will stick around and answer them for you. But thank you so much for listening to the presentation. All right. And I thought I caught the ones in the chat. If there's any that I missed, please let me know. Otherwise, if you did want to unmute or if you want to put your hand up so I can see if you do have a question. All right, Patricia, did you want to go ahead?
Hey, yes, I do. So good afternoon, first of all. I literally want to ask a question about how this works. So I've been looking into grants a lot. So I wanted to touch base with someone to see how it sort of goes and how it works. So just so you know, your session was really, really helpful. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate that. Yes. And so the link that I put first, the Zoho forms, that would be a good one to fill out that intake form. And then we can follow up and have a conversation about where you're at and how we can help for sure.
Awesome. I'll do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right. Just quickly check in. Oh, I think I saw something. All right. Thank you very much. Oh, okay, I think that was just a comment. Yes. So if there's no additional, Fadi.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So sorry, I get busy with my company, and I join back and forth. How I can access the recording?
Yes, the recording should go out to everybody that registered. So that'll be an email, and with the presentation slides, that'll go out as well.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yes, no problem.
I think, Ryan, we have one question. What is technically a social enterprise? Yeah.
Yes, so there's no legal structure to register a business as a social enterprise. So you do still have to register as either a for-profit company, sole proprietor, or incorporation, or you'd have to be a nonprofit. So typically a nonprofit, they get most of their funds from grants and donations. So now when they create their own income generating activity, which would be a product or service that they're selling, they are considered like that income generating activity is considered a social enterprise. And so the social enterprise generates money that then supports the nonprofit. On the other side, a for-profit business that already generates revenue, when they shift, they do use terms like 50% of profits kind of goes back to supporting the community. There's no, I would say, official mandatory number, but that's a guideline that some provinces and some countries use. So when you start to reinvest money into the community to have a positive social impact, now you're operating your business as a social enterprise. So there's no registration officially for a social enterprise, but it's more so how you're running your business or your nonprofit that makes you consider to be a social enterprise. There's even a few organizations that do certifications of social enterprises now. So there used to be one called the Social Procurement Project, and they got merged into Buy Canada or Buy Social Canada. So they do an assessment and certification. I believe there's a cost for that. And then there's the B Corp certification, where they, again, take businesses through an assessment to see if they are actually eco-friendly, have a community impact. And then if you get a certain score, then you can become B Corp certified and use their certification seal. And that certification, again, does have a cost based on your revenue levels, but it's really more so how you're operating, and you can deem yourself a social enterprise. And these are things that we go deeper into next week through the challenge. So explaining and like the different levels of how you can incorporate your business and how you can become a social enterprise, we definitely cover that as well. Cool. Yeah, just check in if there's any additional questions. I'm happy to stick around. Otherwise, I can give you back your afternoon. And really thank you so much for being part of the presentation. It was recorded, so we'll send that out if you want to review. And I see a question here from Renee. How long do I have to apply for a financial once startup has begun? I wouldn't say there's a amount of time you have to wait, only if certain grants say you have to be in business for a certain amount of time. Typically, as long as you've started, you have your business plan prepared and your cash flow projections prepared, you're able to apply for funding. So there's no timeline that you have to wait in order to apply, unless they put something specific in the criteria. All right. So yeah, if anything, I will let you go. Again, thank you. Your presence is not lost on me. It is truly appreciated, and looking forward to seeing you in the challenge next week. I love how we take a whole week to just focus on social enterprise, because I believe the opportunity is real and vast. And the more that we engage and lean into it, I think we're going to see the benefits. And especially the community itself, I feel will benefit from us creating better businesses that can then support more people. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And so we do offer help with the Youth Opportunities Fund, yes. So if you fill out the intake form and just note that you're looking at applying for the Youth Opportunities Fund, we can definitely support you with that. Right. Okay. Again, thanks so much, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. I don't know, Trustee, if you wanted to.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan, for the session. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure.